Hi, welcome back. Let's see how we can delete a particular element from an array. Before implementing this delete method, let's see how it works. Suppose we are having this array and its name is num, and we are trying to delete the element at position 2, at index 2. That means we are trying to delete this element 5. First of all, we ask from user which element user want to delete. If user give input 5, then we have to find does this 5 exist in this array. That means before applying the deletion operation, we have to apply the search operation. We have to search the element 5, and if element 5 exists, it will return us the index number of this element, and in this case the index number of 5 is 2. So once we get the index number of the element we are trying to delete, then the second step is to just create a new array. So we know that the array is a static memory allocation. That means once we created array, we have decided the size will remain fixed. We cannot shrink it by applying the delete operation, or grow the size of array by applying the insertion operation. So uh, as it is a static, so in this case we are creating another array. The existing array size is 5, so the new array size will be 5 minus 1. That means we are removing one element and size will become 4. All right. Now you can see over here the new array the will have the two iteration. How we can copy the data from the existing array. We are just copying all the data from existing array in new array, excluding the element we are trying to delete. Except this element, copy all the elements inside the new array and display this new array. All right. So let's see how we can copy. We will apply a for loop that will start from 0 till less than index. So the index is 2, loop will iterate till here. Whatever the data is in existing array at index 0, that will be copied at index 0 of new array, and index whatever the data is at index 1, that will be copied at index 1 of new array. And loop will end over here. We will apply another for loop, and that will iterate from index, that means 2, from index, that means 2 and less than the length of the new array. So the length of the new array is 4, and less than length of new array, that means 3. And we are starting it from index, and the index is holding value 2. That means there will be two iteration. I's value will be 2 at when we are having the I value 2. At that time, uh, I is pointing, I is having data this. That means whatever the data is at I plus 1 position, copy the data and assign it to the new array at index I. Then I will iterate and point to the next uh, position, that is 3. Then we will say whatever the data is I plus 1 index of this num array, assign it to ith index of this new array. So this is how we copy this data and assign it to new array. This is how we perform the deletion. So let us implement it. Let's say method return type is void and its name is delete. First of all, we asked from user enter element you wanted to delete. Okay, excuse me. And we created a new element, new variable named element. And using the object of a scanner, we are calling the next int method. And after taking the import, we just find this element that we are trying to delete. So for that, we apply the search method. We have created two search method. The second search method, we call the second search method, that is search 2. This is the search 2 method, which take one element as in parameter and search that element from the array and return the index number of that array. So as soon as we call this method, obviously this method is going to return as some integer number, and that is basically the index number of this element if this element exists in the array. So I created a new variable index, and whatever the data will be returned from this search method, that will be stored inside this index variable. Okay. So after that, we are saying we are applying the for loop. I told you that we will apply two for loop. This is the for loop that we are going to apply now. For int I equals to 0, I less than index. Now you can see over here, I should be less than index. All the data uh, at index 0 and 1, that means from 0 to less than index, copy those data and assign to new array. All right. Okay, there is one thing. Uh, we need to apply the conditions. If index equals to whatever the index has been returned from the search method, if it is equal to 1, that means element does not exist. Sorry, element not found. That means element does not exist. We cannot delete this element because obviously this element does not exist. We cannot delete it. But in the else case, if we found the element, in that case, we will create a new array int, and the new array name is new array equals to new, and the size of array will be, or we can say we just decrement the size variable. All right. We created a new array of size -1. We already decremented it. Okay. After creating the array, now I am iterating the loop from 0 till I less than index. Okay. And then increment I. In this case, simply we are just copying the data. We are just copying the data of array num at index I and assigning it to, we are just assigning this data to new array at index I. Okay. As you can see over here, whatever the data is at index 0, assign it to the new array at index 0. Whatever the data is at index 1 of this existing array, assign it to the new array's index 1. Okay. So this loop will start from 0 and it will end at 1. After this loop exit, we are having another loop for int I equals to, we will begin this loop from index. Okay. So I equals to index, I less than what? I equals to index and I less than the length of the new array. New array, new array dot length, and then I plus plus. All right. Now you can see over here, we started loop from 2. So right now i's value is 2. At index 2, we are trying to copy the data of index 3 of array num. So array num uh, index should be 3. So that is why we are saying I plus 1. So i's value right now is 2. So it will add 1 and it will point to 3 index. 1 will be copied and assigned to index 2. Okay. After we exit from this else block, we simply print the updated array using this built-in toString function, new array. Okay, I am going to paste this statement inside the else block, because we have created this array inside the else block. Okay, we cannot print this array outside the else block, because this array is created locally inside this else block. Let's run this. Mhm. Okay, there was an error of this spelling size. Okay, so let us run this. Before we run it, let's call the method, and method is delete. Let's say array size is 5 and data is 11, 12, and 5, 1, 2. Okay, so we are trying to delete the element 5. So after deleting 5, we are having this data 11, 12, 1, and 2. And what if we want to delete this 11? Let's rerun this, and size is 5, 11, 12, 5, 1, and 2. Now this time I'm deleting the first element. As we delete the first element, it is working fine. That means you can delete element at any position. Okay, thank you.